Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we're going to be going over the 5 reasons you should and the 5 reasons you should not buy a BMW 5 Series E34, all of them. Alright, doesn't matter if it's I don't know if they have a 528i, but 528i, 525i, 530i, 535i, 540i, doesn't matter. M5 does not matter. Any of the E34 chassis is what we're going to be going over today. The way these videos work, in case you're new here, is I do one reason you should, one reason you shouldn't, one reason you should, one reason you shouldn't, one reason you should, until we get to 10 total, obviously 5 of each, and at the end of the video I tell you my final thoughts on whether or not I think you should buy the car. Sound good? Sound good. Media of the day is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. This is the first of the new CODs, I guess you could say the SBMM modern era Call of Duties, but it's a very fun multiplayer. And hot take, dude, the campaign in MW19 is one of the best in the series. Hot take, like top 5 easily. An incredible campaign. If you like campaigns, buy MW19 for the campaign alone. It is an incredible experience, super fun campaign. And the multiplayer, like I said, is really fun. It is kind of campy though. It's very, very slow paced, but it's fun. There is a little bit of cheaters on it nowadays in the big 2.6, unfortunately, because there are just so many losers in this world. If you ever feel bad about yourself, just remember that at least you don't cheat in video games. Now you're a good guy. Without further ado, straight into it with the 5 reasons you should and the 5 reasons you should not buy a BMW E34. And reason number 1 why I think you should buy an E34 is simply put the comfort of it. Now, there's no denying the fact that these cars are 90s cars, you know, so the comfort isn't going to be up to par with a modern 5 Series, obviously. An F90 or a G90, I think is a new one. You're obviously not going to be, you know, as bougie as those ones, but for its time period, there's no denying the fact that the E34 was insanely comfortable. And if you like the analog style interior, if you find comfort in the small things, which there are definitely some car guys that do like that stuff, then if anything, this is probably more comfortable to you than something like an F10, F90, G90, because again, it has that analog classic 90s interior. Personally, me, I like the newer interiors. I think they're just more cozy and stuff, but if that's you, dude, power to you. And let's just get this one right out of the way, right out of the beginning. Let's just address the elephant in the room here. Reason number 1 why I think you should not buy an E34 is all the old car problems. What do I mean by that? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, but the car is 30 years old at this point, which I know is kind of crazy to say, but because of that, things like electronics might be failing, rubber seals might be cracking, interiors might be cracking, it might have mice in it or something, it might be rotting out, it might have paint fade that's horrible, the headlights might be completely yellow and look like piss. Just, you know, old car problems, bushings might be failing, whatever it may be, head gaskets and stuff like, well, any sort of gasket might be failing as well, which is obviously not ideal, isn't fun. It sucks because all the old cars are the cool cars, and they always have the most problems now, even if they were reliable back then. There's no denying the fact that nowadays they're going to be a problem. However, reason number 2 why I think you should buy an E34 is simply put the space. A lot of people don't really recognize this, I guess you could say. Like, you guys, like, people know this, but then I always see people that, like, they compare the 5 Series to the 3 Series, and it really doesn't make any sense. The 3 Series is, like, honestly, kind of like a compact car. Not literally a compact car, but it's very, very small. And besides, like, the 1 Series, it is, and I guess the 2 Series too, it is the smallest BMW out there. Whereas the 5 Series, they're big, dude. I've sat in an E39, I've sat in an E34, I've driven E60, and I've driven an F10. I've sat in a ton of 5 Series BMWs. Oh, and I sat in an F90. I sat in all of them, except for the new one, the G90s, and the ones before the E34. I sat in a lot of them is what I'm trying to say, and they always blow me away with how much space they have. For a 90s car, you will have tons of leg room, tons of cargo room, tons of headroom, tons of room to just do whatever you need to do in your E34, especially if you get the wagon too, which is even cooler. Reason number 2 why I think you should not buy an E34, however, is simply put the fact that they're sketchy to go look at. Again, I've said this in all kinds of my videos talking about these older cars, but not only is it sketchy to go look at because of hidden problems, potential problems that you might not notice at first glance when looking at the car, which is obviously, again, something that you have to address with any car, really, but it gets even worse when they're older. But also, whenever cars are relatively cheap, a lot of the people that end up buying them aren't the most trustworthy individuals, aren't the most maintenance-oriented individuals, if that makes any sense. So it's even more sketchy. Like, there has been times where I went and looked at an E46 with my friends one time. The guy pulled a gun on us. We weren't being mean at all. Before somebody's like, well, you probably asked for it. Nope. We were just literally just being nice. Like, just trying to buy the car and doing typical, you know, typical car things where you're trying to, like, nitpick the small things to get a cheaper price. Sure. But that was it. And, Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that they're sketchy to go look at because of the owners and because of the age. Reason number 3 why I think you should buy a BMW E34, however, is simply put the price of them. Obviously, 5 Series BMWs are not cheap cars. We all can agree on that. New ones, though. However, the thing with luxury cars, whether it's a 5 Series, a 6 Series, 7 Series, S-Class, A8, A6, whatever it may be, is they depreciate faster than any other car out there. Within 10 years, they're usually worth around the same price as a 10-year-old Toyota Camry, which is crazy to say, but it's the truth. And that's exactly how it is with the E34. You could buy a BMW E34, now not a M5. If you want the M5, you're still going to be paying a pretty penny. But if you want like just a base model BMW E34, you could buy it for $5,000 all day long. And for that price, you're buying a car that in the 90s was 6 figures. Like it's really good. For a 90s car being $5,000, that's just cheap. Reason number 3 why I think you should not buy a BMW E34 is the fact that they're a little bit heavier than you would initially expect. I feel like a lot of people have this idea in their minds that every 90s car is lightweight. Every 90s car handles incredibly. Every 90s car is a canyon carver. But that is unfortunately just not the case with a lot of them. Like, for example, the 3000 GT. 3000 GT is a good-looking car. It looks sporty as hell, and it looks like it would be like a lightweight, nimble little sports car, right? Wrong. The base model SL 3000 GTs are heavy and make only 170 horsepower, and they're front-wheel drive. They're really not that, like, canyon carvy. That's how it is with the E34 as well. If that's what you're looking for, that's what the 3 Series is for. That's what the E36 is for. That's what... I don't know if I don't even think they did not have a 1 Series back then, and they did not have a 2 Series back then either. But yeah, that's what those cars are for, the lighter cars. These cars, the 5 Series, are a mixture of those two, so if you're looking for a canyon carver, it might not be the best for that. However, reason number 4 why I think you should buy a BMW E34 is the stock performance for what it is. Now, I want to make this crystal clear that I'm mainly talking about the higher end trims of the E34, the M5, the 535i, whatever it may be. The faster ones, the ones with the better motors in it, are very good in terms of what, again, for what it is. It is a 90s car at the end of the day. You got to keep that in mind. So obviously it's not going to be gapping C7 Corvettes or freaking Evos without a wing on it. Don't get me wrong. But again, for what it is, it will be surprising. I rode in an E34. This one was modified, but it wasn't like crazy modified. It wasn't like big single turbo or anything like that. It was modified, but not that much. And dude, just stepping on the gas, you can feel it. You can definitely feel that the E34 wants to go fast in a straight line. Again, it is a little bit heavy in the corners, but for straight line performance and stuff like that, if that's what you're looking for, it does kind of do good for that for a 90s car. However, with that being said, unfortunately, reason number 4 why I think you should not buy a BMW E34 is the tuning potential. Yeah, it's a good thing that the stock performance is pretty decent because that's pretty much all you're getting out of it. There's no... It's interesting because it really... I almost just choked there, sorry. But it really depends on what motor you get, because there are obviously BMWs come with all kinds of different motors, no matter what chassis it is. They all come with different motors, and some of them are really good for building power, some of them are just absolutely horrible for it. But the majority of the E34 motors are not good for it. They're not building power. Now, can you do it? Sure, but you're just gonna have to spend a whole lot more money than you're gonna want to in order to get true performance out of it. However, reason number 5, and the final reason for today's video on why I think you should buy a BMW E34, is the fact that, in my opinion, they are a good investment. What do I mean by that? Well, plain and simple, E34s are in this weird little BMW gray area where people still aren't really talking about them too much, but they're starting to get the praise that they somewhat deserve. And so after a while, you know what that means. In 10 years from now, they're going to be overrated. Overrated as hell. Everyone's going to want an E34. So if you buy one now, and you take good care of it, you don't modify it crazy, you don't put like a crazy wide body kit on it, slam it and put negative 20 degrees of camber and destroy underneath the car. You just take good care of it, maintain it, and enjoy the car for what it is. Chances you're not going to lose money on this car. Even if you do sell it in a year from now, you're not going to lose money on the car. They're at the bottom of their depreciation curve 100%, and if you buy one that does need a little bit of work and you do the work to it yourself, you can sell it for more. They're enthusiast cars at the end of the day, and there's a lot of them that aren't in great condition, is what I'm trying to say. However, reason number 5 why I think you should not buy a BMW E34, and the final reason why I think you should not buy a BMW E34 for today's video, is the fact that they don't have the best interior. Now, again, we're going to go back to the whole first entire thing we talked about in this entire video, the comfort here, it does depend heavily on the person you are. If you like analog interiors, then there's no denying the fact that this is probably one of the best analog interiors out there. It's a 90s BMW interior. It's really good. The only ones that are going to be like better than that are like Bentleys, Rolls-Royce, Mercedes, some Audis. But for the most part, it's definitely top of the class in terms of their interior for the time period. But obviously, if you compare that to a modern BMW, it's not going to be that great. You don't have as much creature comforts and just overall good stuff, technology, whatever you want to call it, in the car as you do with something like an F10, F90, even an E60 or E39. So my final thoughts though, do I think that you should buy a BMW E34? I think for any sort of daily driver, like even if you're a car guy looking for a daily, or if you're just a regular person that doesn't really care about cars looking for a daily driver, that the E39 is just better in every single way. But for a fun little project, I think they're super cool, and if anything, I actually think they're a little bit better than the E39 is. It really depends though, because if you're buying like a V8 E39, then the problem, again, here's the problem. The E39 and the E34 are pretty much the exact same price. I know I'm going to make so many people mad when I say this, but I really do believe that the E39 is just the overall better car. But again, for a fun little project, I do think the E34 would be super cool to see. Not a lot of people do it, but I would like to see it. Sure, they're a bit heavier than the E36. They don't have as much aftermarket support as them, and the tuning potential isn't as great as those cars, but they do have more power from the get-go and better motors to make up for that power. And I'd love to see more E34 builds out in the wild anyways, so I'm not going to say no to that. But yeah, it's just hard, because the E34's main competition is, okay, if you want a daily or just like some sort of nice little cruiser, then it's the E39. But if you want a project and you want to build it up to be a little race car, then it's the E36. The E34 is in this weird little gray area where it doesn't really fit the bill for either of those spots. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 5, or the 5 reasons you should and the 5 reasons you should not buy a BMW E34. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what reviews I'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or any of my other YouTube channels where you have that great mumbo jumbo. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. The next video, tomorrow's video, is going to be a good, bad, and ugly, I think. Yeah, good, bad, and ugly. And then after that, I don't know. The fact that I even know what tomorrow's video is going to be is actually somewhat surprising. But as always with these like 5 reasons you should and the good, bad, and uglies are videos where I talk about one specific car. Recommendations go a long way, so if anybody has any recommendations on cars they'd like to see, I'd appreciate it. As a matter of fact, the next one is going to be on the W204 Mercedes C-Class because somebody recommended that I do that, so I will. The next good, bad, and ugly is going to be on the C7 Corvette because my friend Matt asked me to do one on it, so shout out Matt. He has one. Beautiful car, such cool cars. But yeah, that's what that one's going to be. So yeah, recommendations go a long way is what I'm trying to say. So if anybody wants to see a car in the 5 reasons you should and 5 reasons you shouldn't, or a good, bad, and ugly video, that's how you get it. Alright. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.